Okay, I want to show you a little bit how to create the print portfolio for your final. So I have some examples here today and I'm going to run you through a few tips. Now, there should be two other videos you've watched. One of them is on how to make the web portfolio, which is a little bit different. You're going to be building it with the same things that you're building this with. And there's another whole piece on the resume, so I'm not going to get in that a lot here today. But let me grab a few and let's talk about them and see what we have. So we have one, the biggest component is you need to have a 3-ring binder. It does not need to be like a 12-inch 3-ring binder or anything like that. I'm not sure what size this is, but it's just a nice small one that you're going to fit some things in. Now what we have here is we see the components are, we have items in plastic pages. These are those plastic sheets. You can buy a bunch at like an Office Depot or something like that fairly cheaply. I'm sure Target or Walmart, Amazon, a lot of places have those things. And this is so you can put your items in here inside sheets to keep them so they last a little bit longer. If you're just 3-hole punch-in pieces of paper and putting them in here, those aren't gonna last. And I'd hate to have you do that with your photos that you're gonna get printed also. But what you're gonna have is, you're gonna have here your resume. It's gonna go in a sheet. You might, if you were going out for a job or something like that, have 2 or 3 copies of your resume in here. So you could get one and leave one if you wanted to, but the resume should leave things. And then what we have is, we have some different ways to organize these things. I'll show you a few different ways and then we'll talk. Carson here had some videos, and so what he did was he took some screenshots of the videos that he had made, right? We see some of those things. Talk about when it was published, put the headline in here, what his role was. He shot and edited it, okay, with someone. And then there's a description of the video. We also get a short link down here. So we can find that video. You don't want to put the actual big long link on here. So a short link like from something that's working, whether it's a bit.ly or a goo.gl, something like that will work. And so he's got his video pieces in here. We got a lot of them, right? And we get back here. Now we see this is a web story that he's written. We see it is not in Google Docs format, but he's used, and we can see down here, it's printfriendly.com. So there are some things that will help take a web story you've written, a web something, and turn it into a PDF form, something that looks nice. Sometimes if you go to print something off of a website, it looks doesn't look very good. It messes things up. But there are websites out there, and you can Google turn web page into PDF. Some of them work a little bit better than others, but printfriendly.com is what Carson used here, and it looks pretty nice. We see his story continues. He put the rest of it on the back, moved into ads he's designed, and he's got a bunch of those back here, and those are the things that he's done, okay? So he's got all that stuff in here. What I would recommend to Carson at this point, since he's got so much stuff in this portfolio, what I would love to see is his resume, and then I'd like to see his top items, his top 5 to 10 things. It can be a mix of video and ads, but the top things, and then he could put everything else in the very back. If you were gonna go for a job or a scholarship interview or something like that, you would not necessarily take and want them to see everything you've done. You'd want them to see the best. I like for record keeping, for even just having this like at graduation, like if you're having a party at your house and you want to sit something out on the table to showcase, it's going to be all nice and done and have all your stuff in here is awesome. But for an actual portfolio to take to a job or a scholarship, I would make sure to have your top things up front. You want to show people what you're capable of when you're on the top of your game. So choosing those top 5 to 10, then you can have your categories, videos, category of stories if you have a bunch of stories, and things like that. I have a photographer's portfolio right here. Riley's is similar, okay? She's got her resume here. Looks a little bit different, looks a little bit nice, right? And then we have the photos. Now these photos have been printed, okay? They've been printed at like Walgreens or something like that. And they've been stuck in here. I like this white sheet. It just kind of cleans it up and makes it look nice. I'm gonna put that back in a second. But that's there, and then we see on the back, here's the cut line for that photo. So we see all the photos, and if you notice, the horizontal photos are all facing the same way. So I could flip like this, I could look at the photos that she has I can see the cut lines that are on the back. The cut lines have been edited. They have good information in them. They're gonna help make her look better too, right? So anyway, those things are all in here. She's got probably her top 10 photos or so that she has taken, and they're all in here displayed nicely. Now she's gotten these printed probably at like a Walgreens or a Costco or somewhere like that she sent off for. What I would recommend with those is make sure you do that in enough time where you can use a coupon to get these things printed. Again, I know they're going to be a little bit of an investment, but they're going to look really nice when you get done. The other thing with them is if you want specific crops, you can do that. I've made a video also on how to prepare your photos to print at Walgreens if you have a specific crop you want. Because if you crop it nice and tight and make it look really, really good, and then you send it off, what's going to happen is they're going to blow it up to an 8x10 and it's not going to look exactly like you want. So make sure you check out that video if you are doing photos. I'll make sure to add that with all the others that we have here. Now here's Emily's. We've seen something similar here. Now her grade sheet's in here. If you have a grade sheet that you've been given back from a previous semester, please make sure you are looking over these comments and fixing things within. But a little different look at a resume we see here. We have sheets, videos. She put QR codes down here, totally fine, right, with a short link. Videos that she has done, those things are in here. Looks really, really nice. Okay. Hood reports back here, some things like that. So very, very heavy video based on this one as well. If you are doing something like a page design, okay, you're just basically going to want to print that page off like this. Make sure it's printed in color. If it's a color page, print that off. If you send it to me prior to the deadline as a PDF, I can make sure to print it off for you in color so you don't have to do that, but this would just slide in one of those plastic pages if that was yours. If you have a yearbook spread or you designed a spread for the newspaper, for instance, you're going to want to make sure that it prints as a spread on one piece of paper, right? So this is going to come off the printer. It's going to go in horizontal like a photo, but then you could put this in your portfolio as well instead of having it be 2 pages. You do this by opening up InDesign, and when you go to export, there is a little checkbox that instead of exporting it as a PDF as pages, you want to export it as a spread. So please check the spreads box on the export function. Again, we can show that to you if you do this in plenty of advance time. And the last thing is if you got stories that you have written, right? Stories for the yearbook, stories in the newspaper. We don't need the full page to see what's going on, especially if there are multiple stories on the page. Basically, you can open up that InDesign page and you can copy and paste the headline and story onto a blank document. I left this little graphic on here, that's fine in the middle. I could have left a photo if I wanted to, but I just wanted to take the story that was written. Again, you can copy and paste this from the InDesign file, or you can place the PDF of the page onto a paper and then just crop all the other stuff out of it. So I have the headline and the story that I wrote on here, and then down here, I just typed on the InDesign document the date, the month, the date, and the year, and then I put what publication it was in. It's in the North Star. So if I was having something in the Excalibur, it would go in there. If it was some other print publication I was writing for, that's what it would be down there, but this would go in a plastic sheet, and that's how that looks. We don't want there to be Google documents or Word documents that are printed off or something like that. And really, that's what a print portfolio should look like. The resume should be in there. Your items should be in plastic sleeves. They should be organized. If you're new and you only have done a handful of things, just put those all in there. If you're a veteran and you've been in here for a while and you have 20, 30 things in there, we really are looking to see your top 5 to 10 things in the very front, the showcase of what do you think are the best that you would showcase if you were going out for some sort of scholarship, interview, or some sort of application thing. Okay, and that's it.